Joining us now is White House Coronavirus Task Force member, HHS Assistant Secretary for Health, Admiral Brett Giroir. Admiral, good morning to you. Thanks for being with us. I want to jump right to it here because, as Gio just mentioned, we've seen millions of people, 9 million people, travel during the holiday season, the most since the pandemic began. Dr. Fauci warned and others of a Christmas, New Year's surge. What should we expect in the coming weeks? How bad could it get?
Well, thank you for having me on. How bad it will get really depends on what people do. After Thanksgiving in the Midwest and the Northern Plains, we did not see a spike in cases, and in fact, it continued to go down. So if people do follow rules, limit travel if you can. If you're sick, please don't travel. Always wear a mask and watch your distance. And be careful, it's not really the travel, but it's mixing your bubble with a new bubble once you get there. So it's important to wear masks, physically distance, all the things we talk about. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to have another spike, but we're certainly at higher risk. And remember, if you can get tested before and after travel, please do that as well.
Well, you mentioned the Midwest, though, but other areas like California are experiencing massive surges. We've seen surges after most of the holidays. I mean, do you really think those millions of people will follow all the rules and won't let their guards down when they get in the home with family and friends?
Well, we hope they do. We have a very big country, and what we're seeing is very region specific. Again, the Midwest and the Northern Plains have had consistent decreases in cases. That's been balanced nationally by the real tremendous surge in California, as well as along some of the borders. Now, right before the holidays, we started to see a flattening of case numbers, which is a really good sign, as well as a flattening of hospitalizations. But as you pointed out, travel does increase risk. We have to be concerned about that, and it's just vitally important that people follow all those rules. The 4 W's, as the Surgeon General just said, avoid those indoor gatherings, wear a mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands, particularly if you're in busy airports where your handrails touch, a lot of people have touched those. Very important for good hand hygiene.
I want to ask you about that new coronavirus variant from the UK, believed to be more contagious. So far, officials have not identified cases here in the U.S., but a number of other countries now, including Canada, have. Do you suspect that it's already here?
Well, we don't have proof that it's here, but we do suspect that it is likely here, given the global interconnectedness. Now, let me make a couple comments about this. There is increasing evidence that it really is more transmissible, meaning it's more contagious, including new evidence yesterday that talks about the viral load in people who are actually have the infection with the variant. We have no evidence that it's more serious. In other words, if you get it, it's not more serious, no more likelihood of getting in the hospital or dying. And we still believe, don't have absolute proof, but we have very good evidence and good belief that the vaccines will still be effective. So that's kind of where we are right now.
But Admiral,
we've had a travel restriction from the UK. Yeah.
Forgive me, I just want to ask you, why don't we know yet? Why doesn't the U.S. do a better job of surveillance and genetic sequencing with the coronavirus? We have the most cases in the world, and yet we're far behind other countries in identifying and monitoring these mutations.
Well, we do a lot of sequencing, and the CDC does do that with many different partners. I spoke with Dr. Redfield and the directors. They've certainly upped that. But remember, we have so many cases, and we might only have a handful of these variants within the country right now. There's some more sophisticated ways that you don't need to sequence, because there's a couple of basic tests that give us a hint, and we're looking back at those. But right now, again, we have no evidence that it's here. It's certainly not widespread here, but we need to look and make sure it's not here. And remember, all the things we talked about, the mitigation, will stop its spread just like any other coronavirus.
I want to turn to vaccine distribution. Right now, the CDC is reporting just under 2 million doses administered, but nearly 10 million have been delivered and distributed. The original goal was to vaccinate 20 million Americans by the end of the year. Why are we off pace right now?
So the 2 million number is probably an underestimate. We've distributed to the states 10.8 million doses. That 2 million number is delayed 3 to 7 days, so we certainly expect that to be a multiple of 2 million. We're going to distribute another 4.7 million this week, so by the end of this week, in the hands of the states, over 15.5 million doses. We will have another allocation on Tuesday. That's the rhythm. On Tuesday, we'll tell the states what they get the following week. So 20 million doses will be distributed to the states by the first week in January. That's where we are. probably another 30 million doses in January, another 50 million doses in February. That seems to be a very good estimate given what we know right now. So it's moving along, it's cranking. The end of the pandemic is in sight, but we have a lot of work to do, and literally thousands of lives depend on how well we follow the simple public health measures until the vaccine can be widely distributed.
Admiral Giroir, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We do appreciate it, and Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.